New Twab, as Astacross would say. But don't copyright me. Just joking. Alright, this week in Destiny 9-26, 2024. Topics for this week. The Vesper's Host Dungeon Race. So that's the Vesper Host. That's the new dungeon dropping, guys. Watch the dungeon race on Twitch Rivals. Revenant Act 1 developer livestream on October 1st. PvP Strike Team update. Thank you. We get some PvP updates. Let's get it, team. Alright, the Vesper of Host dungeon race. The Vesper of Host. Let's take a look at this real quick. Wow. It's like a big, like, was that like a satellite? That looks pretty crazy, guys. Vesper's Host Dungeon Race. Vesper Host, the dungeon coming with Revenant, will be released on Friday, October 11th. Not only will it be the first dungeon to have contest mode enabled, but we're also excited to announce the Vesper's Host Dungeon Race. As we've done the raids in the past, we're inviting the top fire teams in the world to compete for the glory and the prizes and to race to the finish line to get that belt. It's going to be a different compared to the raid this time. First 3 fire teams to finish the dungeon will be crowned winners and rewarded. For those brave guardians looking to take on the challenge, here's the details. Excuse me, my voice just cracked. Contest mode will be enabled for 48 hours. Normal mode will be available as soon as the first 3 teams clear the dungeon. You will need to be at 1985 power level to be at the cap through all encounters. Entry requirements. Assemble a fire team with 3 players and start the Vesper Host Dungeon in contest mode from the Planet System map. All fire team members must own the Final Shape Dungeon Key and acquire the quest Rogue Network from Spider in the Last City Seasonal Hub. What? We get a seasonal hub in the Last City? Huh? Completion criteria. Once the final encounter is complete, the fire team must loot the final chest and finish may not be recorded. A team's official finish will be recorded what they loot in the final chest. At last, one member of the fire team must have completed and received loot for the encounter, and it must be the first time completing the activity for the members of the fire team. Contest mode details. Applies some very specific rules to the raids and new dungeons. Enemies are more aggressive. Encounters feature resurrection tokens, and some encounters will have an enrage mechanic and limits number of phases of the time players have left to complete it. Also, character power does not provide an advantage above the recommended level. Those of you that triumph over this challenge during the first 48 hours after the dungeon launches will earn bragging rights, a special emblem, a dungeon exotic weapon. Yes, it's guaranteed reward during the contest mode. Oh, so you get it no matter what. I'm going to try this, guys. I just need to get a fire team. You have plenty of time to prepare to what's to come to put together an incredible fire team. For those who aren't interested in contest mode, you have to wait 48 hours to take your shot at the new dungeon. Normal mode will be enabled as soon as the first 3 fire teams have completed the dungeon. Follow the dungeon race on Twitch. I already have that emblem, guys. They're re-releasing emblems. What is going on here? We are just a few weeks away to the release of the new dungeon Vesper Host, and when it comes to epic challenge between the top fire teams in the world as they race to the podium, we win our inaugural dungeon race. With the celebrate occasion, we're partnering with Twitch Rivals to broadcast some of the streamers participating in the race. If you're a creator looking to be part of the event, sign-ups begin today. We'll be open until October 4th at 5 p.m. Registered and approved creators will be provided exclusive Twitch drops while the race is taking place. Effortless flow emblem. Watch at least 2 hours of any creator with Twitch drops enabled. Active between October 11th 9:30 a.m. PT on October 11th 10 a.m. PT on October 13th. Broadcasting from the dark. Subscribe to your favorite Destiny 2 streamer. So you already have this emblem, guys, this one. So yeah, you guys gotta subscribe to your favorite Destiny 2 streamer. Active between October 11th, same times and stuff with the previous one. So yeah, that's a pretty cool 2 emblems you guys can get. The first one seems a little bit easier. It's free, pretty much. You don't have to subscribe or anything. Alright, so we got a developer emblem, guys. Check this out. Join us for the Revenant Act 1 developer livestream. Destiny 2 Revenant is launching on October 8th. We are excited to give you a closer look at everything we've been working on. Tune in October 1st at 10 a.m. Pacific time for our developer livestream, where we'll share a detailed look at everything coming in the first act of Revenant, along with early chat detailing some upcoming changes that will arrive with the codename Frontiers. We'll have a new emblem you can earn via Twitch drops, so watch at least 15 minutes of the live stream to earn the Revenant Echo. Make sure you have your Twitch account linked. This emblem looks sick, guys. Dude, I need this. Make sure your Twitch account's linked. You got to just watch 15 minutes of it, guys. It's going to be insane. That's how you get that Revenant Echo emblem. Hey Guardians, okay, now we're on to the PvP strike team. With an update you can expect in Revenant. Before we get into the details, here's a quick outline we'll be covering. General Crucible, reprised D2 map, Solitude. Oh, we're getting a new map, let's go! Update UI features, class icons return, assisted by messages, tool of destruction, tombstone icons, mercy rule changes, lobby balance improvements, competitive point reward simplification, placement match improvements, weapons meta overview, PvP weapons micro tuning, Trials of Osiris, upcoming map schedule, new weapons, class based trials labs. I see. They're gonna start doing class based now, so that people can't just go in as like 3 hunters or like whatever. In a preview of what's coming beyond Revenant, Hersey, the next episode of Trials of Osiris rework, Crucible specific ability uptime tuning, playlist reorganization, Iron Banner improvement, skill and rank changes. Oh no, it's not a new map, it's an old map, Solitude. What to expect in Revenant. To set expectation, relatively quiet during the Revenant, outside of some work on Trials of Osiris, rewards and general sandbox spawn map tuning. We are now working on a substantial overhaul to the multiple PvP systems for Hersey and beyond, built on the knowledge we've gained from our experimentation over the last 6 months. We will share some small details on the selection of our goals below. We will have more info for you later once the changes are solidified. In the meantime, we help to hold you over. We have a handful of changes going live in the Revenant that we can share. Reprise map, Solitude. I remember this one. For Revenant, we're bringing back a fan favorite with a reprised version of Solitude. This updated version has small changes to geometry, spawn locations to improve map flow, and has been set up to immediately drop into our competitive and 6v6 modes. We're going to hold off adding it to trials for a bit while we verify competitive integrity of the map in the live game. I see. We made several changes to UI that should help improve information more clearly during combat. To start, class icons will return, displaying in place of the Guardian rank. I see. Class icons are back, guys. We've also added assisted by callouts with the def screen, and will tell you when the person who defeated you was assisted by another Guardian or Guardians. Finally, we've updated the tombstone icon for allies who show their tool of destruction in case you missed it in the kill feed. I see. They show the gun that they died to or whatever. Updating mercy rules. In Revenant, we've done a pass over the mercy rules for the 6v6 playlist. And initially, these rules were set to only activate during a small window of time in the match, which led to occurrences where the game should have been mercy has bypassed the window and dragged on to completion. Traditionally, there was a portion of time where the game would not mercy, but it would turn join in progress off. So games could go several players, but neither the mercy rule nor backfill feature would kick in as expected. Moving forward, we have extended the window within which a game can mercy and enclosed the gap between disabling join in progress and enabling mercy. So the join in progress will be disabled if a mercy is imminent. Due to the increased window, we expect the number of games to end and mercies to increase, but as soon as we get enough data, we will tune the mercy trigger limits for the corresponding game modes as needed. Competitive, we made 2 changes to coming to our competitive playlist Revenant that may seem small, but we think that will have a noticeable positive impact on experience. We have reduced the variability of the points granted on the skill delta between the two teams. Currently, the difference of the opposing team's skill compared to your team's skill can have outsized impact on how many points, blah. While this can help to offset the sting of the falling to the higher skilled team that is currently at near your rank, and the variability can also make the point reward amounts feel confusing. So we streamline the way points are calculated to better align with the actual rewards with what players would expect to see after game. We have changed the way placement matches work to make it more accurately track towards the expected rank. In the current placement matches model, it can often feel like you're being bounced around between wildly variable experiences hunts for expected rank placements. The new placement system will narrow in the gradually, and experience should be significantly less jarring for players of all skills. Lobby balance. It wouldn't be a PvP Strike Team update without some mention of lobby balancing. The update 8.0.5, we had planned to ship a new variant of the snake draft designed upon some of the issues caused in the base version, but we ran into some bug where abnormal situations, fire teams could end up split between the teams. So we disabled that system while we got a fix in place. While unfortunate, this situation did not give us an opportunity to test out the new lobby rank averaging system that was originally intended to be fallback for the snake draft should it ever be able to effectively make a match. Lobby rank averaging works much as a average skill, except when rank in the lobby is the best and the worst. So from 1v6 for 3v3 or 1v12 for 6v6. Balance the teams based on each player's rank within the lobby instead of the exact skill values. This allows us to still generally balance the lobby, but makes it highly unlikely that the best player in the lobby will end up more than the fair share of the lower skilled players in order to drag down the actual skill average, because it caps both high and low skill players can be perceived. Under this system, most matches end up in skill low allocations that like what we would expect on snake drafting. However, there are fewer ways that players can be balanced while achieving the same average on each team compared to the average skill. We still experience some situations where the top 3 players could be placed on the same team alongside with the bottom 3 players. This can be creating an odd team dynamic where the critical mass of highly skilled players on one team rolls the opposite team composed of mostly average players, despite half of the team contributing very little to the outcome. Because of this described occurrence, lobby rank averaging in practice was generally worse than both average skill and snake draft for balancing the outcomes of the solo matches, but significantly better than the initial iteration of the snake draft when dealing with fire teams. Where above the scenario was unlikely to occur, we believe that some minor modifications to rule to prevent the situation described above will be a sufficient fallback to lobby balancer for the future. All told, this makes 4 different variants of the lobby balancing that we'll have tested in the live game, and now we believe we have corrected the issue on improved snake draft system. We'll be rolling it out as soon as our 5th. We're still saving some deep technical jargon and explanations on how lobby balance works for later. We're changing. Here's the TLDR. Lobby rank average, which has active from 8.0.5 onward, don't always work well with solo games, but it worked better with snake draft for fire teams. Usually create less frustrating team compositions compared to average skill. We have fixed the issue. Newest variant of snake draft that could lead to pre-made fire teams being split up, and we'll be rolling it out in 8.1.0 while improved snake draft primary lobby balancing entering Revenant. So yeah guys, that is what they're doing. They're changing the lobby balancing, trying to make it better. Hopefully it gets better. Okay, where was I at? Okay, sandbox. There's a lot to talk about with the sandbox, but we had abilities and gameplay preview last week, and next week we have the weapons and armor preview, so we're not going to spend too much time here. So yeah, hold crouch to toggle crouch in terms of behavior. This limits something that can be tuned because the tactical crouch or 2 during the engagement is an expression of skill and not something we want to discourage. We verified in our playtesting that our first pass was difficult to tell the limit existed if you were crouching at a normal cadence. However, our goal is to reduce the amount of untargeted crouch spamming done either manually or via macros encountered while playing Crucible. We can further change the value needed to prevent the behavior. In addition, we want to focus small a bit of the weapon balance. We'll have upcoming generally give a summary of what the meta sits currently. They're nerfing the crouch spam, bro. That's crazy. Primary weapons. As you can see from the charts below, kills over expected Y and X, kills on the X, Y, X axis. We don't have outliers. Hand cannons are a clear favorite at high skill levels, but autos and pulse rifles are both making a strong showing. In our niche, primary submachine guns, sidearm scout rifles are similarly clustered. However, when we check detailed stats, we can see a handful of weapons of subfamilies are making up most representation of archetypes. Adaptive hand cannons, adaptive auto rifles, impact pulse rifles. None of these are, I can't say that word, too strong. So for the Revenant, we want to focus on bringing up the low performers more than nerfing the strongest options. But we are going to make some minor changes for both ends. Okay, most of the changes we'll be making to underperforming weapons are focused around increasing forgiveness, on allowing better interactive damage boosts in general. We do not want to be moving to an optimal times to kill around too much from where they are now. The one expectation of the heavy burst pulse rifles, which are also getting an RPM change, but we'll discuss that in the detail next week. This is a long swap, guys. Nerfs. Adaptive hand cannons, base damage from 44.7 to 44.5, critical damage from 80.3 to 80.1, slightly reduces the 3-tap 1 damage fall off, has begun at 1 meter. Adaptive auto rifles, critical hit damage from 26.5 to 26.25, reduces forgiveness against high resilience tiers. High impact rifles, critical hit damage from 40.1 to 30.96, lowers the resiliency threshold to 6 critical hits instead of 5 critical hits plus 1 body shot to 5. Buffs. Adaptive SMGs, base damage from 10.9 to 11.5, decreases body shot time to kill. Precision auto rifles, base damage 19 to 19.4, critical hit damage from 33.6 to 33.95. Reduces the nerf they received into light by 50%. High impact auto rifles, base damage from 22 to 23, critical hit damage from 40.1 to 41.4. That's pretty good. Slightly increases forgiveness to range after damage fall off. Precision hand cannons, base damage from 40.4 to 45.3, critical hit damage from 70.25 to 70.2, decreased body shot time to kill. Heavy burst hand cannons, base damage from 23.8 to 24, critical hit damage from 49.6 to 52.8. Slightly increases forgiveness of range damage fall off, allows better interaction with damage boosts. That's pretty good, huh? Heavy burst pulse rifles, critical hit damage from 41.95 to 42.55, RPMs increased to 320. Decrease optimal time to kill from 0.87 seconds to 0.80 seconds. Dang. Aggressive scout rifles, critical hit damage from 91.1 to 91.8, allows better interaction with damage boosts. Special and heavy weapons, increase base PvP ammo from 25 to 29. Sniper rifles, reduce camera roll flinch against players by 10%. Thank you. The Crucible heavy weapon is dominated by a single weapon with a single hammerhead, adaptive machine gun, 4 times the charm killing tally. High impact machine guns increase critical hit damage by 4%. Heavy ammo grenade launchers in PvP increase direct impact approximately by 7% to 26%, depending on the blast radius, to make more accurate and effective against guardians with overshields and damage resistance. Rapid fires increase damage detonation damage by further 7%. We're also investigating heavy ammo linear fusion rifles for future release, looking to branch them into special ammo brethren by reducing their flinch taken from players. Oh man, this is a long one, guys. Trials of Osiris. We have identified several issues with Trials of Osiris that are contributing to the current state, and over the next 2 episodes we'll be working towards addressing. The Revenant will feature push to address some of the low-hanging fruit, while Hersey will significantly rebuild Trials of Osiris experience. We will share more info and our goals to expect in the full preview of those changes coming later. Revenant, we want to address a handful of issues by improving map rotations, making sure our weapon rewards are strong and meta relevant, and improving the game sandbox feels when played at high intensity level. In the future, we have additional handful of issues we'd like to address by adding new aesthetic rewards that allow players to show off their both determination and skill, further improving the trio experience so players are motivated to play with friends, and our overall goal to make Trials more fun and more rewarding for different types of players. Trials changes for Revenant. During the next episode, we are currently planning running Trials with following maps of handful of flex weeks slotted in throughout the season. Science, Sirius Plaza, Eventide Labs, Javelin 4, Burnout, Endless Vel, Ultra Flame, Wormhaven, Rusted Lands, Midtown. We're interested to hear your feedback above of the selection of maps. Which maps are your favorite for Trials? In terms of rewards, we want to add new exciting rewards, improve the ones currently existed in Trials loophole, 2 strikes, and better terms of rewards you can earn in the week. For Revenant, we'll be introducing newly buffed, strongly statted heavy burst hand cannons in the loot pool. Yesterday's question alongside with the revision of the rocket launcher, tomorrow's answer. Yesterday's question: Arc heavy burst hand cannon, column 3, air trigger, redacted, 4 times a charm, redacted, dragonfly, rapid hit to the pain, column 4, desperate measures, heat seeker, eye of the storm, moving target, full shot, multiple weapons, and moment. You guys can check that out, pause it if you need to. I did a couple of them for you. To improve existing rewards, we buffed some of the Trials reward subfamilies mentioned in the sandbox. Heavy burst pulse rifles, critical hit damage from 41.95 to 42.55, increased RPMs to 320, decreased optimal time to kill from 0.87 to 0.80. Aggressive scout rifles, critical hit from 91.1 to 91.8, allows for better interaction with damage boosts. We updated the post-game standard non-adept weapon reward. The weekly weapon has been focused on 50% drop rate compared to others instead of being the only weapon that can drop. This way, even weekly blah 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 earn a chance to get Trials rewards. We have already detailed number of changes coming to the ability rewards, blah blah blah. To take a bigger swing things, we also are going to be running a very special variant of labs, class-based Trials labs. No more than one of each class per team, so every team must compromise of a Titan, Hunter, and Warlock with no duplicates. We are currently have scheduled to run twice during the season. We are very interested to hear your feedback on how it plays. Matchmaking will be active, so you can play solo, duo matchmaking, and find players who do not match your class to fill out your team. Oh man, there are a couple additional changes that are currently being tested, so we have them available to release sometime during the episode. Increasing the Osiris ciphers cap, allowing them to have a chance to drop as a post-win reward on 7-win cards. Reduce the stratification of the FTMM to allow duos and match trios more often. To allow duos to match trios more often. The goal is to providing loss forgiveness for any solo that gets brought in to fill out a game alongside a duo if they complete a match. I don't get that. Future Trials changes. Now it isn't time to share all the details, but we give a short preview on what we're working towards our Trials of Osiris rework in Hersey. Add new aesthetic rewards and Trials, including new armor for each class, a new ship, new sparrow, new ghost, new exclusive emblem. Make a challenge pool less of an all-for-nothing experience. Prioritize flawless or bust gameplay. Lean on what you started with a flawed card rewards to reward win streaks, making it feel like it's not a waste of time even if you fall to the gates. We want to improve the story of a flawless set of the aesthetic rewards, and high skilled players can flex appropriately. Seeing a player with a specific armor glow and a new Trials emblem should mean something very special and not just a generic trophy. However, for Trials to succeed, it needs to also to be something for everyone. We want to bring additional players into the Trials by offering alternative experience for more like Iron Banner in terms of loot chase for 3v3. The focus here is making it rewarding to play and not necessarily reliant almost entirely on wins. to attract players who otherwise avoid current iteration of trials entirely because perceived high-stakes nature. We also want to update Dominion to be more in line with modern sandbox. For example, we are experimenting with making zones appear later in each round, increasing the time it takes to capture the zone, among with other potential changes. There's so much. Trials isn't the only thing we're going to getting a major overhaul in her seat. We're also making big changes. The way we organize and schedule our playlists, we're building our skill tracking systems, making substantial updates to the way the rank is rewarded in the competitive playlist. Sandbox, we're investigating additional Crucible specific tuning for the ability uptime. We do not have details to share at this point, but as soon as we narrow down the values, we continue to communicate. We're also looking at the Crucible focus tuning for Storm's Edge Super and Knucklehead Radar Armor piece. Modified Supremacy mode hardware will also be returning to Labs and Revenant's first Iron Banner weeks. Playlist recognition, we're going to be focused offering variety of options, minimal overlap in terms of experience without splitting the population in too many individual silos. Our goal is to use what we've learned in the last year and aim to consolidate and solidify our playlist into options that better represent experience in Destiny PvP can offer without negatively affecting matchmaking times or connection quality. We are planning to offer more relaxed variant of Iron Banner with minimal matchmaking stratification and a focus on less serious game modes like Fortress, Eruption, and improved version of Tribute. We want to improve the Iron Banner experience, especially for casual and mixed skill fire teams, so we're investigating. Better sorting fire teams based on skill variants present with them more effectively different from actual highly skilled stacked fire teams as casual mixed skilled groups of clanmates playing together. Rewarding fire teams better with incentivized grouping up we've begun to do with trials. Skill and rank changes. We're still not done, guys. We want our skill and rank to be more transparent and easily to understood so players can get a better feeling on where to sit relatively. Matchmaking competitive points, blah blah blah. Biggest factor is points. Performance can help give you a boost on upwards, offset the close loss, and each player should be able to understand what they've earned and the amount they did for each game. Speaking of competitive, we also want to improve collisions gameplay, investigate ways to make the matches feel fairer, and make them mechanics more predictable. Making it so contesting a zone flip is neutral, so either team gains points if both teams are inside of it. Making zone rotations less random by preventing next zone from spawning next to the active zone. Experimenting with different timings of the zone. We're able to be adding variant of collision to private matches in Crucible Labs for players who want to experiment with, where the zone takes much longer to capture and awards a single point then rotates once it's been capped. We have more details later this year, but for now we'll see you in the Crucible. Update 0.8.0.0.5, we added some specific titles to the Fireteam Finder and Exotic Mission Encore. These options help players better communicate with their goals, potential Fireteam members. For example, epilogue runs on expert difficulty can now use of the speedrun category to help players looking to obtain specific triumph emblem. Here's a full list of the categories added. Overture, Concerto Coda. Let's do secrets, the exotic catalyst, looking for collectibles, mining notes, encore, all the above, speedrun, expert only. Artist of the week, look at that. I'm saving that. What? You guys are crazy. That's the movie of the week, and that's it, guys. That is the TWAB. We're gonna finish this within 30 minutes. Let's go. That's everything we have for this week. We'll be back for next week with more details on Revenant, so you have the best understanding of what's to come, including one article Wednesday focus on the artifact. Until then, prepare yourselves and gather materials, finish those challenges and charms you may have left. We're almost there. Destiny 2 can read to you. Alright guys, thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. That was a lot to take in. Got a new dungeon, new trials updates, new emblems, new systems, new changes. This is a lot. This is a big update, guys. Thank you, Bungie. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Let's get the video up to 30 minutes, bro. Come on now. Come on. 2, 1.